What's good, Liberators? Bingus here, and this is DX2 Demon Review, continuing our Halloween spectacular with the Boneyard Preacher, the only holy man whose sermons are worth a damn, the Fiend, Daisoujou, a monk who died fasting for the salvation of the masses in a time of war and despair. Never has this man been so relevant. His spiritual power allows his body to exist without decay. It is believed that he will appear to lend a helping hand to the faithful suffering. Daisoujou, on behalf of humanity, I petition you to return to us now in our hour of need. For the stats, his stats are fairly middling all around, but he is a support guy first and foremost, so don't let that stop you. I've got my mitamas spread about to magic and agility, which I would highly recommend, assuming that your primary purpose for Daisoujou, if you're like me, I primarily use Daisoujou for farming Sloth 12, I believe it is, the one with Lucifer, and he is instrumental if you want to consistently auto-farm Sloth 12. So I've got him built specifically for that task. That's why I've got 20 in magic over vitality. Either way, no matter how you run him, 20 in agility is essential. He is an ailment cleanser, and as a result, that's his primary function. And as a result, he needs to be going first, as often as is humanly possible. And for those of you who don't know, Demon's agility decides the turn order of your team. So whoever has the highest agility will act first, then the second highest, third highest, fourth highest. For those of you who may be new and don't know that, agility matters insofar as your turn order goes. So you want him going first, you need him at the front of the line, so your charmed and bound demons aren't costing you press turns and or wreaking havoc upon your own team. As for the other 10, I gave it to luck, and I think it's just because I was giving him straight mitamas and not extract, like I was giving him magic mitamas, so that pumped up his luck. I should wipe that clean and give it to vitality. Probably a better bet for him. So if you go 10 magic, 20 vitality, 20 agility, you will be good money pretty much all around, especially if you want to use him in PvP, as many people still do today. He knows light, knows dark, which doesn't help anyone all that much in 2021. As for the skills, the transferable Soul Drain inflicts almighty magic damage on a single enemy, heals the caster 40% of damage dealt, drains 1 MP, power of 140, costs 8 MP. Good lord, that's a lot of money. Dang, son. Well, it's there. You know, he's got a nice almighty single target cheap shot if you need it, but 8 MP, oof, god dang. And for his first unique skill, Preach becomes immune to all status ailments. The usefulness of this cannot be understated. Being immune to ailments is just one of his lovely, lovely features. And also activates the following chain effect when an ally is charmed. 50% chance to mute all enemies. So your enemies bear down on you, they charm your team, someone gets charmed, this guy instantly claps back, muting everyone on the opposing team, shutting down the rest of their offense. There are very few skills like this that can completely shut down an enemy's offense while the offense is going on. You know, you've got counterattacks and things like that. It's like, yeah, okay, a little nick back at you. But something like this, and similarly with Alron, who can counter with a charm effect of her own, this clapback is very rare, and not many demons have something like this. Very cool. Love to see it, but the crowning achievement of Preach is his immunity to all status ailments, which synergizes quite well with his other unique skill. Cleansing Shout cures all status ailments and removes debuffs from all party members. The usefulness of this cannot be understated. He's immune to ailments. He can wipe your team clean of ailments. You can see why this guy has stood the test of time. It is why you still see him on PvP defensive teams to date, because once upon a time he was the only guy who could do this, unless you fused up a bubble head in the multi-fusion. Oh, what is his name? I forget his name, but he originally, a 3-star demon, you can multi-fuse, was immune to ailments, but he did not have a means to cleanse ailments. You could transfer a prayer or a silent prayer onto him, but that was all you could do. This guy comes around, once Sega realized that people were using him in that regard, they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty useful. We should make a 5-star demon out of that, which they did, and we got Daisoujou. And it's amazing. It's got applications all over the place. It's why he is 100% necessary to farm Sloth 12 with consistency. If you got him in there, you can lock that down, set it and forget it, auto battle it, farm for days without a problem, assuming that you level this skill up to 4, which I would highly recommend, because that brings the MP cost down to 4 MP, which means if you give him Divine Brands, he will be able to rock this out every turn, no matter what. Can't stop it. No matter what your enemy does, it will have a chance to go off. So definitely level this guy up for that 1 MP reduction, as well as a 50% chance of 1 MP recovery when using this skill. So hey, it might only cost you 3. Huh. Okay. And for his archetype skill, I've got a Origami for Mohammedine. As I said before, I primarily use him to farm Sloth 12. All those mobs and the boss wave and the first 2 waves are weak to light, so this allows him to throw out some damage at a discounted cost of 6 MP when he is not needed to cleanse ailments off the entire team. So it works well for me. But if you're running him in PvP, there are probably better archetypes you're going to want to consider, which we will get into. For his transferables, I've got him with Light Boost, again, just to help speed along that Sloth 12 farming, and Samakarm, because I have had him, I'll throw him into the occasional PvP team. When I was competing in Legend tier, I had 5-6 teams, all designed to take out specific teams, because once you're really high up and you start picking your targets or taking revenge, you gotta have teams built to bust up all manner of other teams. So having Samakarm on there is always helpful, on top of his other support capabilities. As for brands, Divine Brands, I would say, are essential. Just, you don't want to be caught with your pants down when it comes to ailments. Right? You don't want to find yourself in a situation where he can't Cleansing Shout. If he's got Divine Brands, he's able to Cleansing Shout no matter what. Now, give him those Divine Brands. I have got him with Speed Brands at the moment, although lead brands are possibly the best thing you can give him, depending on the team you're running. If he has got the highest agility on your team, okay, great. You can give him Speed Brands and give him something else to help with whatever situation you're in. But if he is not going first on your team, give him those lead brands, because he needs to be at the front of the queue again, so your bound and charmed demons don't lose you press turns. You want him to be going first, wipe away the ailments, and then the counterattack begins. So get him going first, no matter which way you got to do it. If you got to fiddle with agility on your other demons, like, oh man, I pumped a 20 agility into this other demon, and now he goes slightly, he's got 184 agility. Daisuju's only got 183. Okay, well, knock that agility down 1 or 2, balance it out, allow Daisuju to go first, place him first in the turn order, and you will be running at peak performance. As for the panels, panel 1, minus 50% to light damage received. Useful if you are using him to farm Alter World, which I believe I do as well as farming Sloth 12, having that damage reduction for teams that are coming at you exclusively with light attacks. And you get Overbreak for resisting set attacks. This is fantastic for that purpose. And again, if you've got an Origami, he's got the Mohammedan built into him, and you're able to attack and defend same time. Fantastic. Panel 2, minus 3 MP to MP consumed by Soul Drain, which, as we discussed before, costs 8 MP. This knocks it down to 5, making it orders of magnitude more viable, especially in the PvP realms. You can get him cheap shotting a few demons down to size. And for his panel 3, activates the following chain effect. If Cleansing Shout is used, removes all enemy buffs. So Cleansing Shout originally resets your team to baseline. Now this will swipe away all those buffs from your enemies. On top of that, fantastic. Stealing buffs is a great strategy, and it helps keep them from just dominating the field, having that buff up. Ideally, you want them debuffed, of course, but keeping enemy teams at baseline. A lot of teams, including my own Speedster physical team, cannot function properly unless the buffs are on. So this can hamper that, can really hamper your enemy's offense, especially if it depends on them having those buffs and debuffs on in order to make their offense pop. And before we wrap it up with this mad skeletal preacher, take a quick gander at these other archetype skills, assuming we can find him. As for Origami Mohammedan, which we discussed, love it. The Protector archetype, Dioran, which, okay, discounted cost of 6 MP, heals a single party member with a power of 170. I am not a huge fan of healing as far as it goes in PvP. Generally speaking, your enemy's offense is so calamitous that whatever healing you muster, even if you've got, fully specced up the best healers, it's still not enough. So I always found that healing in PvP is a losing proposition. Your best bet is to just best defense is a good offense. At least that's my overall vibe. And for the Psychic archetype, Enduring Soul, a PvP classic, and 99 times out of 100, if you run into this guy in PvP, this is what he's got on him, which, hey, it works. However, Enduring Soul is a very easy transferable skill to send over. So if you don't have any great ideas for his transferable skills, hey, slap this guy in Origami, slap him with some other archetype, and then give the easy Enduring Soul transfer skill. But that's only if you're not planning on using both those transferable skill slots. Many people have got Rakarmdra on him. They got in the Psychic archetype, Enduring Soul. They give him the Rakarmdra so he can revive everyone on the team as well as cleanse the ailments, putting him in full support mode. Should have mentioned that when we were talking about transferables. That is a very, very popular. In fact, whenever I see him, I just naturally assume he comes equipped with Rakarmdra. So be aware of that. And as for the Elementalist archetype, Drain Light, it turns his Null Light into Drain Light. Okay, that's something. If you're running him on your Demiurge team or your Rama team, okay, yeah, that was something people did. When Daisoujou and Rama were the new hotness, right? Get as many drains in the team as possible to counteract every possible combination of attacks. This day and age, it's there, but only useful, again, if, I got this great Daisoujou Demiurge team combo I want to run. That's the only time you would mix it up with this. And that is about all I can think to say about this skeletal holy man. Other than, I am a big fan of this yellow and green color scheme. Green is my favorite color. And just seeing that green scarf and that gorgeous yellow hat, I must compliment him for being an old school kind of guy with the modern fashion sense awareness that I have not seen in any holy man in decades. Happy Halloween, Liberators. Don't get captured.